Secrets, we all have them. It's why you know how to clear your browser history. And in this video, I'm going to show you 3 easy ways to add secret drawers to your work. You might remember this piece from a video I recently made called Darts Cabinet. Title makes sense. Now in that video, we made this piece from start to finish. One thing I left out, both for time constraints and I wanted more material for another video, was that 3 of these drawers have secret compartments. So let's dive in a little bit and see what's going on. The first of these 4 drawers is a standard dovetail drawer. Typical construction, half-blind dovetails in the front, through dovetails in the back, and a solid wood bottom that slides in from the rear. But alas, no secrets. And our fun starts with the second drawer, constructed the same as the first, but with a false bottom that lifts away with the help of a hidden magnet. Okay, this is our drawer number 1. Drawer number 2 is built the same exact way. Everything that's going to make this drawer a secret drawer is going to be done after the glue up. So we have our front with the half-blind sockets in it. We have our 2 sides, again with the groove for the drawer bottom, and we have our back. So with this drawer, our panel floats on top of the miters. So our goal is to get really nice tight miters. That way we have a nice friction fit and we don't have to glue them in place. If we change our mind in the future, it'll be easy to go back to the original plain drawer. So let's measure very carefully, head over to the table saw and cut our miters. Here we're cutting strips that are going to make up the miters that the false bottom is going to rest on. The wider you make the strip, the more spacious the hidden compartment will be, but of course that will reduce the amount of regular drawer space above it. I find 3/4 of an inch is a nice compromise. Here's a cool little sled. It only has one runner attached to it, so when it's in the miter slot to the left of the blade, I cut my pieces to length, and then I move it to the other slot to cut my miters. I adjust the blade to 45, line up the end of the workpiece with the 45-degree cut in the sled's fence, and your miter is right where you want it. And here I'm just using the shooting board to fit each piece individually. I'm not going to glue these in, so I'm looking for a fairly tight fit. With our miters fitting exactly how we want, it's now time to cut a panel to fit this space. Lengthwise, we're going to go pretty tight, just leave a tiny hair. And widthwise, we'll leave a little bit more for seasonal contraction. I'm going to cut that on the table saw, and I'll fine tune it with a shooting board. Then after that, we will magnets. Now I'm measuring the false bottom against the opening of the drawer, and I'll cut it slightly oversized at the table saw. Now once you're close to your final dimension, make sure you're checking after every 1 or 2 swipes on the shooting board, because you don't want to overshoot and leave too large a gap. But we do want a nice piston fit like that. Again, not too tight, or else during the summer you might be stuck with a stuck secret drawer. Ease the edges a little bit more than you normally would. A more rounded edge will just allow it to lift away more smoothly. And now we're just going to drill a hole. I have a 3/4 inch Forstner bit chucked up. We're going to put a hole about 1 inch from the top edge. I tried the middle and no good, because it becomes a balancing act. It's like the game Operation. It wants to touch the side and grab. So if you put it near the top, the panel tilts up, much smoother play. Again, a 3/4 inch Forstner bit for the matching magnet. I use a that kind of magnet, and it works great. Do some test holes. We want to get as close to the front face as possible, but obviously we don't want the spur of the Forstner bit poking through the show face, because that would suck. So make sure you do your test holes, make sure you're drilling in the back of the piece, not the show face, and that's about it. Last thing, let's pop in our magnet. For a permanent solution, use some CA glue or epoxy. Put it in our drawer. And to lift it out, just use a magnet of an opposite polarity. And lifts nicely right out. simple, fun look. If you're a spy with the KGB, would I hide the nuclear secrets I stole there? No. You want to put $100 for a rainy day? I think you'll be good. All right, on to the next drawer. On to drawer number 3. This is the one with the false bottom that conceals the tray that slides in and out of the back of the drawer. To do this, we just need to add a second groove. We're going to put it right here, right below this tail and below this pin. So you're going to have 2 grooves, one for the tray to slide in and out and one for the drawer bottom. Now when we make our back, make sure we cut it narrow so when it's in place, we have clearance for both grooves. And once you know where the drawer bottom's groove is located, you can cut your back to width and cut your joinery. And here I'm rabbiting the tray panel and drawer bottom to fit in their grooves. I'm going to wrap the tray bottom so it could slide in and out fairly easily, but definitely not too loose. We only want it to slide in and out when we actually pull on it. Nice. All right, now we just need to measure for the frame that will sit on top of this panel. It's going to be similar to this. This is an older piece that I made. We need 2 pieces that will be the width of the inside, left to right dimension, and we'll need 2 pieces front to back. Front to back, we're going to cut it short by about 1/2 inch. That way it'll give your finger something to grab onto, make it easier to slide in and out. All right, so we'll just cut a few pieces on the table saw and we'll be right back. Now for the 4 individual pieces, you could use butt joints. I decided to miter them just because I like the way it looks. And I know no one is ever going to see it really, but hey, I'm going to see it. One thing I like to do when gluing up miters is using the fence of my jointer. It's because I know it's 90, it's rock solid, just as to reference the parts off of when I glue them up. So what I'm going to do first is size up the joints with a little bit of glue, wait a minute or so, and then do the actual glue up. Sizing the joints just to make the end grain to end grain joint a little bit stronger. After about 45 minutes to an hour, take it out from under your press and clean out any squeeze out now before it gets rock hard. And you're good to go. Give it a light sanding, you know, if you need to level out the corners, apply some finish, and you are good to go. And slides right in. and you have a neat little hiding spot. All right, on to the third drawer. Finally, our last drawer, and my favorite. This is the one with the hidden mitered box. So this is the side from one of our other drawers, and this is this one. As you can see, about 1.5 inches shorter. Everything else is the same as far as drawer construction goes. Standard as it gets. Again, we're just making it 1.5 inches shorter than the depth of the drawer pocket. That last 1.5 inches, that's where the miter box going to tuck up against. Let me get this glued up, ready to go, then I'll show you how I make that mitered box. All right, with the long piece, we're just rubbing a little bit. So instead of going to the table saw, we're just going to do a couple of swipes on the shooting board. Take one shaving on each piece and see how that fits. By just taking 1 or 2 shavings, I'm really happy with the fit now. Going to the table saw to take off such a little amount is so risky, so I'm really happy with that. With the miters done, I just temporarily taped up the mitered box to show you guys what I'm going to do. I'm going to rabbet the bottom of the box. That will be where a bottom will set into, and we'll do that in a table saw. And then after that, I'm going to drill a hole with a Forstner bit in the back of one of the pieces to set a magnet into. We're going to put it dead center because we're going to be pulling the box from the back of the drawer. So if we put the magnet near the top or the bottom, it'll tilt and bind in the opening. So we want it dead center for the smoothest operation. All right, so let's do that now. After allowing all the glue to dry, I sanded to 220. I used some sandpaper on a hard board to lap the top and bottom to make sure everything was even. Leveled everything out. And now I'm just applying a couple of coats of finish. Then I'll put in the magnet and we are done. And with your last secret drawer in place, you're all set to hide all sorts of goodies from your good-for-nothing friends and family. Like your priceless antique currency collection. Maybe a little pot, or even a little heroine. Look how little she is, she's adorable. Or maybe some racy pictures of an old flame. So there you have it, 3 secret drawers, 3 different ways. I had a lot of fun making these. I hope you enjoyed following along. Any comments, questions, whatever, leave them below and I'll gladly respond to them. And until the next video, take care and be well.